So good morning, Unity of Ventura. It is my pleasure to be back here with you again, to be speaking on this day. And my topic today is Choose Your Adventure. And I was thinking about this topic when it came to choosing an adventure in terms of, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the 90s, we had this text adventure games. And this was before video games ever really came about into the wonderful full color action adventure 3D virtual reality that they are now. And instead, video games in the 90s, they were text-based adventure games. So basically what this used to be, if you never played one, I'll tell you what they are. Basically what it used to be was you would go to a computer screen, and in those days we had monochrome screens, tell you how old this was, and you would log in to this adventure game, and it would tell you, in front of you is a door. You are in a cave. In front of you is a door. To your right is a sword. To your left is a cloak. There is a door in front of you. And then you would make a choice. You would say, take 2 steps, knock on the door, or reach for the sword, or reach for the cloak. And based on what you decided, your outcome would be based on what the choice that you had made. And I was thinking about how true this is as it concerns the way we navigate in the real world right now. And actually, text-based adventure games are probably closer to the way we navigate in the real, quote unquote, real world than what we do when we use video games, because text-based adventure games force us to use our imagination, and that forces us to picture what's actually happening, to imagine it before it actually happens. So you, all of a sudden, when they say you're in a cave, in your mind, you choose a cave. And in your choices, you're making progressively better and better choices as you go along the game. And as you're making choices, you're getting different consequences and different outcomes as you go along. And I was thinking, wow, that's so much like life, that's what we're actually doing. So as you know, or maybe not, if this is your first time with us, welcome. Usually I pick a background, a Zoom background that sort of matches what I'm going to be talking about. And I call this the field of infinite possibilities. And the reason why is this is a huge open field. And, you know, have you ever used dandelion to blow and you get a wish? So think of this as your field of infinite possibilities, that there are so many wishes and choices that you can make that are all, you know, a multitude of outcomes. And as you blow each one, the seeds spread out and anything can happen. New things can grow anywhere. So I want to look at what are our choices? How do our choices affect our outcomes? And also, what are the tools that we already have within us that are affecting our choices and that are assuring our successful outcome? Now, we always talk about, or at least I always talk about, that the universe always has our back. No matter what we do in every given moment, the universe always has our back. And I also like to think of the universe as your GPS system. You know, as I'm talking about technology and I'm talking about how video games have come so far, you know, can you imagine there was actually a time that we used to have to get out maps and figure out where we were going and like write on a map or turn, like I used to have a Thomas guide in the old days. Well, we're really going back here, aren't we? My age is showing, but we used to use Thomas guides to flip to the pages, and you would say, okay, I start on page 9, and you flip, and then you go to page 26, and that's where you want to be. But now all you have to do is you turn your smartphone or your smart car or your smart whatever, and it automatically knows where you are, right? It already knows where your starting point is. And then you punch in the address of where you want to go. And the GPS takes a look at what the traffic is. It takes a look at, possible routes, time of day. It'll ask you if this is the time of day you want to go. So it's charting your course for you for the best possible outcome so that you get to where you need to go in time and in the quickest amount of time. So in every moment, the GPS has your back. And I like to think of the universe as our universal GPS, because in any moment, if you don't follow the directions and, all of a sudden the nice lady or man or whoever you've chosen, again, another choice that you can make is, do you want the lady or the man to give you your directions? And when you're making that choice, it will tell you, get off at route 6 or exit 6. And if you miss that turnoff, it'll automatically reroute you and tell you, get off at the next exit, make a left, and then it'll put you back on course to get to your new destination, your same destination in a new way. And the cool thing about that is, let's say you just, without thinking, you punch in your work every day, and sometimes it'll take you on a different route. And if you get off, if you're listening to your music and you're kind of daydreaming and you decide, you miss your exit, and then you go a totally different direction. And so you get a new perspective and a new experience by following this GPS direction. And you don't have to think of it as, and the universe doesn't think of it as, you made a wrong turn. It's just saying, here's another way we can go. And you'll end up in the same place, but you see a whole new experience in front of you. So in every moment, you have a choice. And I'm going to read Marianne Williamson. I put this in the blurb that I included with this week's, the bulletin that goes out every week. And this is from Marianne Williamson. And she says, the universe is infinitely and eternally lit with a light of love and new possibility. You can have faith in that and experience miracles. Or you can have faith in the illusions of the mortal world, experiencing lack and scarcity without end. So what she's talking about here is making the choice between love and fear. And that's another choice that we have, that we can either choose to believe in Maya, the illusion of the seemingly real world, or we can choose to rely on love and allow that to be our GPS, allow love to guide us, allow love to make the choices with us. And so we have so many different tools that we can use that are already within us. The love that we have in our hearts is one of our tools that we can rely on. When we're getting into a fearful place, we can release the fear and recalculate our GPS and allow love to inform our decisions, to inform our choices. And the other things that we have, again, the GPS, no wrong turns. And the other thing that we have is forgiveness. And, there's a quote that says, experience is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted. And I think Stephen Wright says, experience is what you get just after you need it. But I want to include there, experience is what you get when you don't get what you think you want. Because what you can get is something much greater than what you expected. And, we talk about forgiveness, the term forgiveness, as a way of, I think TJ Woodward, I listened to his talk the other day that he did for you guys. And He talks about it as requalifying or making peace with your past as forgiveness. And I love that. I think that's great. And I also think of forgiveness as always being self-forgiveness. No matter what happens, we're always in the process of self-forgiveness. So when we are blaming somebody or, making somebody wrong for something that's happened, we're also blaming ourselves. Like, that shouldn't have happened. We're saying that whatever had happened should not have happened. So we had a preconceived idea about what should have happened. And because it didn't happen, then we have to bring in forgiveness. No. Forgiveness is a way of accepting that we had a preconceived notion. And now we have the opportunity to correct. Again, GPS, we could use UPS too. It delivers to us, doesn't it? So the GPS is always redirecting us back. So our own integrity, we can never really be out of integrity with ourselves, because the universe is always bringing us back to where we need to go, to where we need to be. So the tools that we have, again, is choice, and the choice between fear or love, and also the choice between forgiving, choosing to forgive, and the choice between accepting what has happened. We can accept that what we wanted to happen didn't happen, and that's okay, because it's taken us to a new destination that we didn't even know could be even greater than that which we already had planned for. So we can also use another tool that we have is the witness consciousness. And let me explain what I mean by witness consciousness. So witness consciousness is when you are watching yourself have a reaction to something, like the piece about forgiveness, like, he shouldn't have treated me that way. He should have treated me this way, or she should have done this and she did this instead, or I should have done this and I did this instead. So you want to observe when you're doing that. And the more time you spend in meditation and the more time you spend in spiritual practice, the more that gets developed, because you're able to say thought, emotion, as it's passing by, as you're being still, you're able to sort of be the witness in your own awareness, the content of your consciousness in your head. So that's another gift. That's another choice. That's another tool that you have, where you can develop witness consciousness that allows you to make better and better choices. So these are just a few of the things that I wanted to drop in today as we're observing our field of infinite possibility. And I'm just knowing that right where we are is exactly where we, quote unquote, should be. And that all of our choices have led us to this place where the universe has chosen for us the next step. We always can choose the next step, and we can course correct at any time. So I invite you to use your universal GPS to allow spirit to take you where it needs to take you. And I'd like to close with a little prayer, as I usually do. So let's just turn within in this moment. So how good it is, and how grateful I am for this opportunity to speak this word, to know this truth, to recognize the powerful presence of God is making itself known, is loving us infinitely, and that the universe has no judgment on us, on whatever turns we take. And it doesn't matter where we are, we're just being loved in every moment. So I'm so grateful and thankful for the presence of God that knows itself intimately as us, as the very essence of who and what we are. So I'm naming and claiming for each one of us in this moment that we are celebrated, loved, held in the presence of God. That in every moment we are just guided and directed, that in every moment we have the opportunity to make a new choice, that we have the opportunity to accept what has happened, to make peace with our past, to accept what has happened, and to make new choices, to choose and choose again. I'm so grateful for this and so much more. I'm just loving you with the presence of God in this moment, accepting all that has come before this moment in time, knowing it is all for our good, that Spirit loves us so much that everything we do is the beloved of God. Everything that we are, we can't help but be beloved, because that's just the way God is with us. So for this and so much more, I give thanks. I release this word in this awareness, knowing that it is so. And I rest in it, saying, and so it is. And so we are. Amen. So thank you so much for being with me this day. Go out there and pick some dandelions and blow them in the field of infinite possibility as your life. Peace and many blessings.